And next we'll be speaking for Stelios Peroulis, and that will be Coach Linsacum. Come forward.
Good evening. That was a great one before me. You kind of like hope that he messes up a little bit so you won't look like you have to match up to that, but kind of wish I could be Ishii. Anyways, tonight I'm speaking about Stelios Peroulis, and I tell you, Stelios, same thing, came up to me and asked me, hey, would I mind speaking for him? And I said, without a doubt, absolutely. One more chance to talk about one of the most special kids I've ever been around in my short teaching and coaching career. And so then I sit back and I'm thinking, well, how am I going to do this? And if you've ever been around Stelios, you know the type of person that he is. If you know him as a, individually or heard about him, he's an outstanding guy. And I could go on and on about his attributes and his character and those kinds of things. And I'm thinking, well, I'll change it up. Maybe I'll do some stories of things that maybe people don't know about him. Maybe some unique anecdotes that can kind of shed some new light on Stel. And then I'm thinking, why wouldn't I talk about all the good things? If I'm a parent of Stelios Peroulis, why wouldn't I want to hear as many times as you'll tell me about how good a kid, that's been in my house that I've raised and helped shape. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just, I'm going to say, and then I've got some other things as well, but I want to talk about who Stelios Peroulis is and what he's meant to my program personally. And the way I look at it, and I guess this might be my old man talking, but he looks at sports kind of like a business. It's a business in winning and losing and competing and trying to be the best that you can be to get the job or the position that you want. So I approach it a little bit the same way. And I look at five points, 5 characteristics, 5 qualities I would look for if I was an employer. And the first one would be work ethic. And it's been touched on here tonight, but willing to work and work hard and work extra to be the best that you can be. And in saying that, Stelios is one by far, definitely the hardest working kid I've ever been around at the high school level. The kid never stops, wants to work, keep working, stay after. He wants to be successful, and that goes from his sophomore year on through, never faltered from that. What can I do to get better? And we'll get more into some of the things that he did to do just that. But having great work ethic. Number 2, the willingness to learn and improve. Not knowing that your way is the only way. Being open to change and to variety and trying to get the most you can out of the person teaching or showing you things. And again, Stelios Peroulis hits that right on the head. A type of kid that will ask, hey, how can I improve this position? I'm having trouble in this area. Not just asking myself, but other coaches. Looking at other athletes and seeing what they're doing and learning from them and saying, hey, let's watch this kid and see what we can pull from this individual. Always want to learn, always want to get better. And as an employer, I would think, man, what a great attribute, what a great characteristic, someone that just wants to keep on improving and keep climbing that ladder. Number 3, competitive spirit. And we'll talk about that in a little bit too, but being competitive and just the willingness to want to win, to be the best. And I know that's not the end-all be-all of things, but in life, life's a competition. Getting that job, getting that internship, doing the things that you need to do to be successful, you're going to have other people wanting that same thing. And having that competitive spirit can give you that leg up. And Stelios, again, hits the 3rd attribute right on the head as well. Okay, wanted to win, hated losing. Did it the right way, and I commend him for that. But did it the right way, but hated failure, and would do anything he can to be successful the next time. Learn from what he did rather than let it eat him up. And again, I keep on saying I'll keep on going to these other things, but I'll speak to that a little bit more here in a second. 4, integrity, being trustworthy, being someone that I know when he tells me something that is fact. And if I ask him to do something or I need him to help me with some certain task, without a doubt, that'll be done to the best of his ability. And that trustworthiness and that integrity that he possesses is awesome. And then the 5th one is leadership. In leadership, people talk about being a leader and being a vocal leader. And in my mind, there's so many different ways to be a leader. And the best way I feel like is taking care of your own backyard first. Taking care of yourself, making sure you're doing the right things, and letting people see that you're not just talking the talk, but you're walking the walk. And Stelios, as a senior this year, without a doubt, became that leader, became that presence in the room hey, look how hard Stelios is working. We can't not work as hard, or at least put that effort forward. So that, without a doubt, was a great attribute of Stelios. So to have all these qualities, that I just talked about is pretty rare. I mean, there's oftentimes you're going to have kids that work really hard, but don't always do the right thing. Kids that want to work, but they're about themselves, and they want to be successful, and they don't want to worry about being a leader. And none of those things are a negative thing, but to possess all five and to worry about himself and compete, over-compete, work hard, learn, as well as being a leader and taking care of others underneath them is an outstanding tribute to him and to how he was raised and the type of person that he is. So the thing that I say, and it's selfish, but what now is my biggest nervousness. He's gone and doing his thing, and hopefully I see him more, as often as I can. But what do you do when that presence is gone? And we're going to find that out. But that has been a big part of this wrestling program for the last 3 years, and having that absence is a little bit scary in my aspect, because there's so many things that he brings to the table. It makes me a little bit nervous and a little bit sad that I don't see him there every day, because he is there every day, always being responsible in that aspect. So that's kind of what I'm talking about, a little bit about him. And I know he's got the grades and he's got the attributes and the all states and things, but him as a person and who he's become in the last 3 years that I've known him, it's an honor to be his presence. And I tell you what, and Coach Hafey touched on it, there's obviously no credit on my part. I was just a piece of the pie. His parents from birth to now have a huge respect for them and what they brought up and who they have as an individual. All of his coaches coming along through the youth wrestling program and all those things that he thanked on his senior speech. I mean, those guys had as much or more to do than I ever did. But just to be a small piece of that pie that is Stelios Peroulis is an honor that I'll never forget. So, and I say that and you're thinking, man, what a great kid. He's just done all the right things. I tell you what, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, but I don't think things came real easy for Stelios Peroulis coming through. He wasn't that kid, and this is not a negative thing. It's actually, I feel like, a positive thing. The kid that could walk into on a wrestling mat and just, with little effort, win a match, get a fall. He had to work for his success, and that work brought on some problems. He had some anxiety problems as a sophomore, even to his junior year, where he'd get extremely nervous to the point where he would almost dang near pass out. And here I am, a first-year coach, and I think it was at the Warrior Classic, maybe a little later in the season, and he's wrestling, and all of a sudden, man, he just, boom, and I'm like, oh my God, what the heck are we supposed to do? Like, call it 911, this is ridiculous. Is he breathing? Like, do I need CPR? I'll do it. And come to find out, he just kind of got really anxious and got really nervous, and he had to work through that. And wrestling kind of brings that out of kids because you are the only person on that mat in front of thousands of people. So you kind of have that anxiety and that nervousness. And he had to find a way to fix that problem. And I tell you what, you try to find Stelios Peroulis when he's next match this year, good luck. Because he got into his corner, he was about this close to the wall, and he just stared at that wall and get himself prepared, get himself ready. And then he would always have about a milliliter of water left in his water bottle. And the minute they called his name, there went that last little bit of water, and I feel like it was the flip of a switch. And he didn't think about the match as much as, what am I going to do? I'm nervous. It's not going to go the way I planned. What happens if something, adverse happens? It was just, it's time. And that was his way of learning and fixing that problem. And I say that because that's what this sport is meant to teach. All sports a lot of times. It's always great when things are going well. Who can't be happy when everything's doing everything you want and everything's falling into place? But what happens when things don't work so well? How do you adapt to that? How do you change? How do you improve? How do you learn from those types of things? And Stelios, without a doubt, was successful to the point now where, third place in state as a senior is an awesome achievement. Second thing, and that's the anxiety piece, but he's not someone in wrestling. It's getting better in a lot of ways, but it's not a sport where you always feel on top of the world. And Stelios was trying to fit a weight his sophomore, junior year where he had to cut weight, and he had to make weight, and an hour later from making weight, had to rehydrate, get fuel into his system, and then compete. Again, not an easy task to ask a 16, 17-year-old to do, okay? You're tired, you're hungry, you're thirsty, and then all of a sudden now I've got to put my body through 6 minutes of, trouble. I won't say the word, but 6 minutes of tough competition when I don't feel great. And again, how many times do our parents wake up, or do we wake up feeling, man, the last thing I want to do is put on this tie and go to work? I'd like to stay home. I want to stay home with my kids. I don't want to drop them off at daycare. But we have to fight through that. And Stelios, again, learned to put his best foot forward, even though he probably didn't feel the greatest. Another characteristic this sport has taught him, and he has stood up to and achieved. And then this year, doing the opposite. Now he's a senior, giving up weight. Didn't want to cut. Found himself kind of in a middle ground between weight. Said, hey, I'm going to go up. I'm going to train my butt off. Kid got up at 5 a.m., 4 a.m. probably, because he's on the border of Wyoming, to get to the gym to get his 5 a.m. workout, lifting his butt off to keep his weight on, to keep strong so he can compete a weight above. Okay? And I don't know how many high school athletes have that type of commitment, where they're going to wake up 4 times a week to train and then go to practice. Okay? I don't know a lot of college athletes that I've been around that absolutely loved the 2-a-day system. Okay, so another thing that I completely respect, and a little bit of awe, that a kid like him, and I'm telling you what, I try to wake up to go to the gym in the mornings and I struggle, you know, and every time I'm like, God dang it, Stelios is probably there right now. So I got to get my butt up and go. And then the last thing too, there's 2 more things, so I'm going to just talk. I'll try to wrap it up. This is just a piece of the, I can keep going forever. But we go on these summer trips, and they're tough to plan, and there's a lot going into it, and I probably do too much, I don't know, but you need help. So I'm the one guy, and I have a coach that comes with me, but we're camping, and we're doing this, and we're wrestling, and we're trying to find a place to shower, and we're trying to make meals, and it's a lot to try to juggle. And I tell you what, I would serve dinner one night, and then I'd go make sure everybody's got their meals, and I'm not throwing trash and been taking care of it. I'd come back, and if Stelios wasn't already cleaning stuff up, I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, you know, look like you need to clean. I was done eating, I might as well help you out. And then next thing you know, John T. and Elias are right there alongside before even being asked, because they knew something needed to be done, and they were going to take care of it. So I mean, just an outstanding young man that I've never seen that happen. You just like, hey, it's your turn for dishes, coach. Come on, I'm full. Go do dishes. Oh, a 3rd time finally, get up and go. It's your turn. Not with Stel. I couldn't find someone else to do it before he did. And the last thing I will say, and this is the thing that gives me the most respect for Stelios, and something I'll always respect about this young man, and it's from day one as a senior, he wanted to be a state champion, you know, and who doesn't? But he did everything he needed to do to be a state champion. He trained extra. He worked hard in practice. He didn't take days off. He learned. He watched film. He did everything you could possibly ask a young man to do to be a state champ. And then we have a bad little match in the regional qualifier, which loses his seed. Okay, and so he has to go to state and go in unseeded. And lo and behold, he finds this kid from Eaton, who's a tough kid that we beat earlier in the year, but just a tough kid to wrestle. First round of state, we draw this kid, and we don't win, lose in overtime. Okay, you're a senior. You've been wanting to be a state champion your whole year and previous years, and that in an overtime takedown is over. You are not going to be a state champion in high school. Okay, and how do you react to that? Okay, what do I say to a kid walking off the mat who has just got his dream crushed? And there's 2 ways that things happen, and I've only seen the first is the kid stops wrestling. He's like, it's done. I didn't come here for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. I came here for 1st. I'm not getting 1st. I'm out of here. Okay? And you say, after all this I've just said, well, Stelios didn't do that. Absolutely not. Kid was mad. He had that moment of, man, I want to just be done. And then he went and put 5 wins together, the most you can have in a state tournament 16-man bracket, 5 wins in a row to take 3rd place. And not only does he take 3rd place, he scores more team points for his team doing that than if he would have been a state champ. Okay, and then just as a little bit more salt in the wound, the kid that won it was a kid we had beaten early in the season as well. Okay, but what does that say about Stelios Peroulis? It tells you as a kid who finds problems, meets them head on, and does the best he can to learn from it, get better, improve, and not dwell on the negative. Okay, and if I could have that quality to fight through adversity on my team, holy cow, could you imagine the success we would have? Okay, so that's the kind of thing, kind of character, kind of person Stelios Peroulis is, and I do want to commend his parents for instilling him that character that he possesses. I definitely want to commend all of his coaches and athletic influences that have helped develop him to the point where he is here tonight, both a scholar and an athlete. I commend his family, his friends, his teachers for all being small piece to who Stelios Peroulis is. But most of all, I want to commend Stelios Peroulis. A man that has chosen the right road, the right path, time after time, and will continue to do so in his life. And the person who's learned from his ups and downs and has reveled in the highs, but learned from his lows, and has become a better person after each experience in his life. I'm proud to say I'm his coach, was his coach. I'm proud to say that you're a product of this great town, Craig, and Moffat County, someone that we can be proud to say came from this school, and someone we can look up to in the future and point to and say, hey, he did it the right way. Okay, it's been done. And so I appreciate all he's done for this program, for this school, and for this town, and I wish him all the best and can't wait. Hope to see him as much as I possibly can in the future. Thank you.